Hey, good day, everyone. This is an urgent message for all of you that either owe money to the IRS today or have owed money to the IRS in the past. In 2020, President Trump declared the COVID-19 pandemic a federal emergency, and that impacted the way that the IRS did business with each and every American taxpayer. Your ability to file your taxes were delayed and postponed, and so forth. So that gave the ability for Americans to be able to eventually get to file their taxes without having to pay any failure to file penalties, any failure to pay, or any interest on those debt. Now, if you owned a business and you had issues with your payroll taxes, the same thing was applicable to you. So basically, the pandemic or the federal emergency went from January 20th of 2020 through July 10th of 2023. Now, a couple of the cases have been going through the courts that are very, very critical for this conversation today. One is Kwong versus United States, and then the other one is Abdul v. the Commissioner. Both cases have been decided in favor of the plaintiffs, but the IRS, as we all believed that they would, they have appealed these cases, and you do have the ability now to file a protective claim. What does that mean to each and every one of you? It means that you have a deadline of 40 days from today. Today is June 1st of 2026, and all the protective claims must be into the IRS no later than July 10th of 2026. Now, what the Quan is saying is that the IRS continued to charge penalties and interest during the period of the pandemic between January 20th of 2020 and July 10th of 2023. If that is the case, and the IRS loses the appeal in the federal appeals court, then you may be susceptible for either a refund or you can get a rebate or you can get a penalty abatement on those penalties and interest that you paid throughout that time. Now, in the Kwong case, even the penalties and the cases happened prior to the 2019 tax year, but the way that they claimed it is if they had to pay interest or penalties during the pandemic, then they shouldn't have to be responsible for that. And that's where the issue is today, because the IRS is taking a very narrow approach to how they interpret the law when it came to the federal emergency and the disaster for the pandemic. So this is very, very critical for all of you. If you need to find out, if you want to find out whether you qualify for a protective claim, which has to be filed no later than July 10th of 2026, feel free to reach out. I'll give you my information in a minute. There's a lot of work to be done. So if you think you're going to be impacted, you need to act now, because you would have to give power of attorney to your tax professional if they specialize in this type of work. He or she is going to have to download all of your tax transcripts, and that's going to take some time. They're going to have to review each and every one of those transcripts, especially those that may be impacted for that specific year, which means they're going to have to separate those transcripts and break them down by codes and amounts and so forth to make certain that you may be suitable for this type of claim. Now, no one knows what the ultimate decision by the courts is going to be, because the case is currently in appeal. But if you want to protect your rights, and if you want to be able to have the ability to potentially recover some of those penalties and interest that were charged on your account, then you need to act no later than July 10th. Now, we're going to shut it down June 30th, because there are millions and millions of Americans that are going to be filing these claims. So we don't want to be late to the game. If you're not able to provide myself and my firm with the documentation that we need and no later than June 30th, then we're not going to be able to help you. We're just going to say no. And you either are going to have to find someone else, or you're going to be totally out of luck and not be able to qualify for the protected claim once it goes through the court. So if you want to discuss it further, please feel free to reach out. My name is Bert Salazar, and you can call me at area code 888-477-0108. You can see it right there on the screen. You can also send me an email, Bert, B-E-R-T, at gablestaxgroup.com, and we'll be more than happy to have a private consultation with you, confidential conversation with you as well. And most important, we'll walk you through the process to identify whether this is something that may be suitable for you and for your family, and most important, your business. So thank you, and you have a great day.